there, beautiful soul. Welcome back to another episode of Permission to Follow Your Inner GPS, your inner guided purpose soul path. We have another amazing featured guest for you. And yes, I say that every time because I mean it. I am Angel Lady Terry Marie, your host, your go-to person with the angels and spirit. We've already been chitter-chattering a little bit, so it's not unusual for me to stumble over my words a little, and I'm going to get right to it because this lady is absolutely amazing. We share the same middle names, Marie. This is Melissa Marie Pepe. She is a confidence coach and online visibility expert for passionate, heart-centered women entrepreneurs, and she is a #1 international best-selling author of The Art of Unlearning. How cool is that? She also empowers her clients to fully embrace their unique gifts and talents. So without further ado, please welcome today's guest, Lisa Marie Pepe. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. We're good. We're good on this side. How are you and you guys?
We're hanging in there. I'm up here in Connecticut, and it's sort of like, we're going through the dog days of summer, but I personally love summer, so it's all good. I'm all about tank tops and tans and beaches, and so we're doing really well up here. Thanks.
Nice. Please tell us about your journey, a little bit about you and your journey.
Oh, Lord, where to begin?
Well,
I know. I was born. No, okay.
Little bit fast forward.
Yeah. So let's start where I became an entrepreneur, right? That's always a good one.
Yes.
So the short version is this. Back in 2011, I was working as a licensed massage therapist and thoroughly loving life. I was in the prime of my own, physical strength. I was going to the gym frequently. I was working out a lot. I was doing some modeling. Everything felt perfect, right? And of course, unbeknownst to me, there were other plans for me. And as I was driving home one evening, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident. And that accident was really the beginning of the end of that period of my life and the beginning of a new chapter of my life, which at the time did not feel good in any capacity. So I got injured, hurt my neck, hurt my shoulder, went through the next couple of years. Of course, I had to resign from my position. I had to close up my own private practice and just went through feeling incredibly lost. I was depressed. I was physically injured still, but I couldn't get the proper diagnosis that I needed in order to move forward and have surgery. So the next few years were really, really difficult. They were really difficult for me. And there were days that I didn't even recognize myself because I went from being this confident, person who loved to work out and just felt like life was just flowing. And it was like literally I'd stopped dead in my tracks. And as a part of that part of my journey, I had taken some really, really awful positions. Even though I had gone to graduate school twice, I have 2 master's degrees, none of it mattered because I didn't feel good about myself. I had lost my confidence. My self-esteem was shaken to the core, that I settled for anything that anybody would give me for work. And at my lowest, I took a job as a telemarketer. And I don't say that to, denigrate, telemarketers or anything. But again, here I am, 2 master's degrees, licensed massage therapist, private business owner, and now I'm working for $8 an hour, selling roofing that I didn't even care about. And to top it off, telemarketing is not a glorious job, right? I mean, people typically are not kind when you call them and want to sell them things that they don't want, right? So that was a nightmare in of itself. But what I realized, especially in the aftermath of that, was I was recreating the external reality to match how I felt internally. And that only became evident to me as I continued to take a step up each time. And I'm going to tell you what happened. So I got fired from that telemarketing job.
That must have stung.
It did. It hurt so badly. And I cried. I cried my heart out. I begged them not to fire me because I was so scared of just having nothing, right? Of not having anything. And I was so hard on myself at that point. I was so disappointed in myself. I looked in the mirror. I'll never forget it. It was the day I got fired. And I looked in the mirror in the car and I was like, oh my God, you're so pathetic. I was like, look at you. Yeah. I mean, I was my worst enemy. No matter what anybody else said, I was the one who really did a number on myself internally. So I licked my wounds. I got another job. I went through a couple of other really crappy jobs, like retail. They gave me like 6 hours a week. I'm like, really? How can you live on 6 hours a week with minimum wage? So long story short, fast forwarding, I got a job at a gym and I thought, well, it's a step up in the world. At least it was a little bit more related to what I wanted to do, health and wellness and that kind of thing. Except part of my responsibility of being a front desk clerk at a gym was to tidy up the restrooms at the end of the evening.
Ooh.
Now I was still dealing with a lot of physical stuff that felt out of control at times. Like it was so bad. So there I was, another year had passed and here I am still working nights, holidays, weekends, minimum wage. I'm sorry, I was like $1 above minimum wage. So it was a step up in the world. And I was in the bathroom and I was cleaning just cleaning up the area, I guess. And this woman that I had gotten to know very well, she was a patron of the gym and she was incredibly nice. She was a social worker. So we had a lot in common because I have a psychology background. We had just chatted and she really knew my story at that point. And one day as I was getting ready to close up, she met me in the locker room. And she, talk about divine intervention, divine timing. She quite literally stopped me like a deer in the headlights. She said to me, can I ask you a question? And I said, sure, what's up? And she said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm cleaning the bathroom. She said, no.
What are you doing?
What do you do? And I said, I'm emptying the trash. Do you want to help? Right? Like I was being a little facetious. I could be a little facetious, but that's okay. Third time she said to me, I don't mean what are you doing right now? She said, I mean, what are you doing with your life? And I was like, what? Right? Because someone called me out on it. No one in my family had the courage to call me out on it. No one in, I was in a partner relationship at the time. He didn't care, right? Too self-absorbed. And so, yeah, here was this beautiful woman who I now truly believe was an angel. There's no doubt about it in my mind because we just kind of lost touch after that. But what she said to me on that day is what changed the entire trajectory of my life. She said to me, I don't understand why you're here and you're hiding out from life. She said, you are so gifted. You're so talented. You belong, out there helping people, empowering people, inspiring people. This is what you were born to do. She said, but yet you're here hiding, doing a job that she said, a 16-year-old kid without a high school degree can do, getting minimum wage, she said. And I want to know why. Why are you wasting your life? And that was the beginning of a whole new version of who I was to become. And
had she asked you any sooner, you would not have been ready.
Correct.
For the revelation within and without.
Correct. And that's exactly what I felt as well. I was open at that point. I was open to receive. I was open. My higher self knew that there was more for me, and it was going to fight like hell to get me there, right? And so it placed this lovely individual into my life. And to be honest, I mean, that was in 2013, at the end of 2013. And within a couple of months, I got myself together. I picked up and packed up my stuff. I resigned from that position and had all these professional resumes done, and was now applying back into, more fulfilling work. I also have a degree in teaching, so I went back into teaching for a while. The only thing is the physical stuff never resolved itself. So once I got great health insurance, because as you can imagine, being a telemarketer, they don't give you health insurance.
No.
But they're very, very smart about that, right? They keep you at like 35 hours full time.
Yeah.
So anyway, don't get me started on that.
No.
But so I get this beautiful job, full-time assistant teaching with, special needs kids. I felt great. At least, emotionally and mentally, I felt amazing. Except the physical stuff kind of persisted. So I went and had it checked again. And of course, I was now heading into 2014, and I found out I had torn my cartilage in my shoulder. I had known that all along, because being a massage therapist, having that kind of a background, I knew enough about my own body to know what was wrong. But that's another story for another day, why I couldn't get that diagnosis. I had surgery in 2014. And although I loved my work, and although I felt fulfilled doing what I was doing with the special needs students, I realized during my recovery, because it was such a comprehensive procedure, because we had to wait 3 years to have it done. So there was all kinds of stuff that was wrong. There I was again, right? At the crossroads. What do I do? Because even today, I can't fit into somebody else's schedule. I have to fit into what my body needs. And if my body needs extra rest, or my body needs, an ice pack or a warm pack, especially in the winter when it's cold up here, I just couldn't do it. So there I was, and then of course I'm trying to do the rehab, which was beyond, I can't even tell you how bad it was, how awful it was. And it's something I still work on even today. I've been someone limited ever since the surgery, but I persist and I keep going and I keep moving, and, I persevere on. But that's when I had this revelation, and there was no doubt in my mind that God was not speaking to me that day in my room when I said, God, I give up. I said, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I said, but you have a plan. And every time I have tried to fix something on my own, I seem to wind up in a very, very bad place. So this time you're just going to take the wheel. I'll be the passenger. Show me what to do and I shall do. And boom, it was like a light bulb went off. And within like a week, I was like looking into coaching and how to set up a business online. And, I was like all gung ho. I was still dying halfway through, but it took my mind off of it. Right. And it gave me a reason to even push harder to get better. And there's where my story began.
Nice. It's so important and nice in the way you're sharing it, because you're being very open. Not nice that you had all of those experiences, but when we're open to the point of surrender. And surrender in our language is giving up fear and doubt
Yeah.
and giving in to trust and faith, which is what you did on multiple occasions. And yet it was at a higher and deeper level each time.
Yes, yes, yes.
So once you got that last, okay, Lord, divine source, take the wheel, and it started coming through you even more clearly, how easy was it for you? And would you share one of the challenges, even knowing what that was, to get to where you are today?
Oh, certainly. I mean, there were multiple challenges. First off, I had not at that point had any proper business training, right? I was sociology, psychology, education, never business, management,
Right.
marketing. And then to think that I could even start an online business was it was an absurd thought at the time, but I knew that I had what it took to get the job done. And I knew, of course, it would be all fueled by God, right? But I knew that I was up for it. And I mean, the first year it was just a huge learning curve. Huge,
Oh,
huge.
yes.
I mean, I started off doing wellness coaching, and then I didn't really feel like that was my jam, and trying to figure out like, okay, well, I want to help people be well, and all that, but there's something missing. So then, rebranding again and and literally having to learn a whole new way of life.
Yes.
I mean, I went from making $8 an hour and feeling like a piece of crap about myself every single day. I mean, when I left the house, I cried. When I got to work, I cried in the bathroom. When I was on my way home, I was happy because I had another 18 hours before I had to go back, right?
Right.
And it it blows my mind even to this day how my life has just intricately just done a complete 180. And I also believe that everything I've gone through was all meant to happen. I feel like it was part of a divinely orchestrated plan to expose me, to show me my highest self and what I'm capable of. And that being said, I know that this is not the end. I know that there's even
Oh,
there's even more to evolve to. There's even more to take in. There's even more to understand.
it will be a bit smoother in the sense of not surgeries or those kinds of cataclysmic, that's a nice word,
I
cataclysmic experiences. That's what it's not.
Well, thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for the great word, because I feel like there are days I feel like I've been through hell and back, and I'm just like, all right, like let's just get this going. But I mean, I jumped in full force, full force. I
Well,
jumped.
is there any other way once spirit
No,
gets a hold of you? I mean, it's like, no, you can't be putting your toes in and they go, oh, I don't think so. And then you can't be putting no, it's everything.
you have to go all in. You have
Yes.
to. I mean, I resigned from my position, and I had a full-time position with 401k, benefits package, all the good stuff that I had dreamed of having. And yet I knew there was still something more for me.
That feels like it was a respite time for you mentally and emotionally to build yourself back up.
Yep, I would agree.
Not in your heart, but more up in here,
Of course.
you know?
Well, it's interesting you said in your heart, because at the time, and this is why people were like amazed who were watching me right from the outside. They were like, wait a minute, you have a brand new job, you got a brand new car, you have like a brand new wardrobe, you're a different person, you're not with your boyfriend of 11 years anymore, what happened? And I said, well, I woke up and realized that I was worth more than having someone who was cheating on me. So I kicked his butt to the curb. And people were like,
Good
"What?"
for you.
They were like, "You were together so long." I'm like, well, the relationship kind of died like 3 years ago, and I just stuck around because I didn't feel good enough about myself. So when that kind of all happened and I had that major shift, that major transition, I was just like, nope, you need to go, you need to go, you need to go. Like I just cleaned house. Because if I was going to be serious about becoming the person
Hmm.
God intended for me to be, I needed to rid myself of all the toxicity that I had taken in.
That's a really tough one for people, friends or family or, partners or whatnot. And it's just, they don't want to be alone. And what they don't really understand, yes, maybe for a short time while you're cleaning it out, but then the others, maybe fewer numbers, however, they are truer, they're more real, and they're a better fit. Whether it's an exact vibrational match or not, it's a better fit for everyone all around.
Right. And was it scary? Of course it was. I had been with
Yeah.
him for 11 years, which meant I knew what I was doing on the weekends. I knew what I was, doing at night. I didn't have to worry about those things. Although now looking back, of course, I knew that I was worrying constantly for the last 3 years of the relationship. So yeah, when I had that awakening and just felt better about myself, it was like, well, what they say, like, in with the, whatever that expression is, and I want to screw it up. But
Out with the old, in with the new, something like that.
yes, that's exactly what it was like. I was going through clothes. I was getting rid of old wardrobes, getting rid of clothing that reminded me of who I was when I had the accident. Because those things, I mean, for me at least, I'm very like attached to things. Smells can bring back memories for
Mm-hmm.
me, things like that. And I was like, I'm not keeping these clothes. These sweatshirts and sweatpants and not caring about how I looked were an indication of how I felt. I don't want to feel like that anymore.
Which leads right into the visibility part of what it is you do. It's like if you're going to hide, you can't be visible.
Correct. Which is so ironic that I'm now a visibility coach.
Not so ironic.
I
Not in
know.
the grand scheme of things.
No, not at all. We teach the things that we ourselves have overcome. That's typically what I have found.
Yes, yes. Please tell our viewers, beautiful, what is one of your favorite ways of working with your clients?
Oh, there's so many, but I really love helping women to identify their biggest fear of being visible, whatever that means, right? For them, it may be starting a business. For them, it might be taking their business to an even higher level of success. For some, it might mean teaching them how to do their very first Facebook Live, right? Or their very first YouTube video, or, and learning to love themselves unconditionally. Because truly only when you are at that point can you step up, get in front of people, speak your truth, and not fear what others are going to think or fear what other people are going to say. Just this past week, I had a massive incident which really threw me for a loop. And that was 48 hours ago. And here I am, and I feel like I'm even stronger because of it. And I want for every woman to feel that. I want for her to feel true self, like just complete love for self. Forgiveness for all the things that you think you did wrong. Forgiveness for all the things you perceive that were your fault. For blaming yourself for not doing better because you didn't know how to do better. That's a big one for a lot of people.
It is, just because, yes. Was it explained to me a long time ago? If a person doesn't know that there are options,
Mm-hmm.
and if they don't know what the options are, they're pretty much shot in the foot before they even get started. So sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it is a matter of not even knowing that something can be different.
Right. And that's what it is. It was learned helplessness. That's what it was. You know the story
Good.
about helplessness. I mean, if the animal keeps trying and keeps trying and keeps trying, and then suddenly something is removed, no longer inhibiting the animal doesn't even try to escape anymore because it automatically gets programmed to believe there is absolutely no other way.
Exactly. And it comes, we can get into this another time, but it comes down through the DNA and the cellular structure, so it's not all ours, and it's not a cop-out. It's accepting responsibility for where we are and stopping the cycle. Would that be fair?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was the biggest thing for me. It really was just having grace for myself and
Mm-hmm.
and treating myself as my own best friend. I would never be harsh with anybody else. I would never, ever in a million years tell my best friends something awful about themselves when they already felt awful. Like
And yet, that's what we do.
yet we do it to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, there are days that I still struggle from time to time with everything that has happened in this area. And it sort of is a reminder. And there's days, where I kind of feel like I'm going to shoot through the roof. But on the whole, when I look back at my entire lifespan now, and I'm 39, so I still have a long way to go, I just think about how beautiful it is that I truly like who I am now. Like I love who I am, but I really like who I am.
That shows.
Yeah. And it's night and day. And I want for every woman to feel that way. That's what I want.
And down that note, beautiful soul, please tell our viewers how they can find you.
So this is really easy because I'm a visibility expert. I tend to know how to get my name out there on the web. So the easiest way, because I have a website, but we're transitioning to a different URL. So by the time this airs, I don't know. I would advise you literally just to type in my name into a Google search. Lisa Marie Pepe, P-E-P-E. So Paul Elephant. Put that name in a Google search. You will find me. I will pop up on blogs. I'll pop up on magazines. I'll pop up on Facebook. You'll find my website. And please reach out to me in any way that feels good to you. You can send me a message on Facebook. You can send me an email. You can meet me on Instagram. Wherever you hang out is where I'll be.
And just to be clear, beautiful soul, that's Lisa. That's how this particular beautiful Lisa spells her name.
Yeah.
Lisa, Lisa, Marie, like mine, Marie, Pepe, Pepe.
Yes.
All righty then. Thank you so much. And hopefully you'll come back and we'll be able to expand on who knows what other topic will come up.
I know. Who knows? This is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. So beautiful souls, please leave your comments, pop by and say hello. And when you have finished viewing this particular podcast with the beautiful Lisa Marie Pepe, pop by angeldreamteam.com. We have a free gift for you, Angels, Success, and Prosperity. Become a mover and shaker of your reality. And until next time, give yourself permission. Bye-bye.